Welcome to the injury report. My name is Jason from Talking Grit. Looking over the injury report, if this player is out, the Lions could be in trouble on Sunday versus the Bears. Let's check it out.
Welcome to Talking Grit.
All right. It is Thursday, September 11th. Let's look over the injury report for week 2. Lions versus the Bears. Lions play the Bears at 1 o'clock at Ford Field on Sunday. We'll go over the Lions first, and we'll hit the Bears. So Lions, Taylor Decker, shoulder injury, did not practice on Wednesday or Thursday. Concerning, to say the least. Now he did have off-season shoulder surgery. I don't know if it's the same shoulder. I'm assuming it is, but I'm not for sure. So that is concerning. Something we'll have to monitor. Trevor Nowaski, linebacker, did not practice at all last week. Has gotten into limited practice both Wednesday and Thursday this week. It's probably trending in the right direction. Same with Sione Vaki, our running back, four-string running back, more of a special teams guy, can return kicks. Maybe back there with Stewart. That's probably our starting team back there. We'll see how that goes. Terrion Arnold, who missed the second half of the Packers game, has had a full practice both Wednesday and Thursday. So looking pretty good for him to join. That groin injury must not have been too bad. Jack Campbell did not practice at all on Wednesday, practice in full today. So went from did not practice to full practice. And Daniel Thomas, safety, we signed him from the Jaguars right after the initial 53. Safety, but he's mostly a special teams guy. Full practice the last 2 days with a hand injury. Let's move over to the Bears. Kyler Gordon, their cornerback, hamstring, did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. Not looking good for him. Same thing with Grady Jarrett, their inside defensive tackle, has a knee injury, did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. TJ Edwards, their star linebacker, did not play in week 1 versus the Vikings. Limited practice both Wednesday and Thursday. That's with a hamstring injury. So those could be very fickle. So I'm not sure if he's going to be playing or not. If he doesn't play, that could help the Lions there. Another cornerback is out for the Bear, or on the injury report for the Bears. Josh Blackwell, groin injury, both limited practice both yesterday and today. Same thing with Roshan Johnson, backup running back, and Jade Walker, wide receiver, has an ankle injury, limited practice. DJ Moore, who took a nasty hit at the end of that Vikings game, came back into that game at the end of the game and played surprisingly, because it did not look good for a little bit. Full practice. They're listing it as an abdomen or groin injury, but he practiced in full both Wednesday and Thursday. Jalen Johnson, one of the best corners, if not the best corners in the league, did not play week 1. Full practice the last 2 days. Trending in the right direction. If you're a Bears fan, Lions fan, maybe you're not so happy to see that. The big one that I alluded to at the intro of this video is Taylor Decker. And let's look into a little in depth about who the Lions have behind there. Now, I will start out and say that John Morton, in his press conference early Thursday morning, early afternoon, did mention that he fully expects Taylor Decker to play. It's not really backed up by the practice report, but at this point, he's expecting him to play. But if he doesn't play, the Lions could be in some trouble here. The only other active tackle on the 53-man roster is Giovanni Manu, the project third-round pick that we took, out of Canada last year. In my opinion, probably not ready to be in a game in a tackle position. So that could be worrisome. Hank Fraley did mention, I believe last week, that Ewasika, our guard, has some tackle eligibility, or can go out and play at tackle. So that may be something to monitor. I'm not sure how that would look, but he seems to believe that he's normally a guard that could kick out and play tackle. Now, Dan Skipper would be the obvious option, right? He's on our practice squad. However, he has not practiced. He did not practice last week, and so far the beat writers have not seen him at practice. Now they only get to see the first 15 minutes of practice, so it's possible that he's been practicing other than that. Um, but and the but they haven't seen him out there. And the Lions also don't have to list him on the injury report because it's only the active 53 that they do that for. So we don't really know what's going on with Dan Skipper. And as far as I know, we have not asked him about that. Um, Also, on the practice squad, you have Devin Cochran, who we just signed earlier this week. That's practice squad depth. I don't think that he's going to get moved up. There's undrafted free agent Mason Miller, who we saw play in preseason. Did not look good at all at tackle. I do not want him in there playing that position at all. He looked so bad that they kicked him in and played guard at the end of that preseason. So I don't really see that as an option, but he is a tackle listed on our depth chart. So hopefully Decker gets out there. If not, hopefully Skipper is able to be healthy. And if either one of those happens, it's either going to be, in my opinion, Awasika or Manu out there. And, you always have the option of moving Panay Sewell over to the left side. I don't think they're going to do that. Manu, pretty much, if he plays his practice mostly on the left side, I think that he would get that start there. Uh, Jack Campbell, who did not practice in full today. Justin Rogers, beat writer, did notice that after practice today that his ankle looks really, really swollen. So swollen that he was surprised that he was able to practice, but they did list it as a full practice. So we'll see how it reacts tomorrow. Like, did it get worse after practice and he's not after practice tomorrow? If he can't practice, I would expect Alex to get the green dot to be able to call the plays. He's obviously more than capable of doing that. Uh, I'm going to expect that Zach Cunningham probably gets into that middle linebacker spot. And then I would also expect if Trevor Nowaski's back that he may get some snaps in there too as they shuffle things around in that linebacker room. Like I mentioned earlier, Terran Arnold, I'm fully expecting him to come back. And as far as Sione Vaki, that one I would be careful of with the hamstring injury. It's the same hamstring that he's been dealing with all of camp, and it's not something you want to really mess with. If you re-injure that, then it's another 4 to 6 weeks. So I they didn't put him on the injury reserve list, so it likely that it's not going to be up to 4 weeks. So maybe they just give him another week. Sailors, who they put on the active roster, put him on the active roster instead of elevating, which makes me think it's going to be another week or two. That's why they did it that way. We'll see. Baki is a very important special teams player, does some amazing things. He caused that fumble, and in the preseason, also everyone remembers him taking down two people in the special teams play last year. So, he's special teams player. I would like him to be back, but we'll see. As far as the Bears, they are very light at the cornerback position right now. Getting Jalen Johnson back is going to be a huge boost. Not only is getting another cornerback, but getting one of his caliber. The Bears list Kyler Gordon and Josh Blackwell as defensive backs on the official depth chart. So they probably play a little bit based on that. They probably play either some safety along with nickel and outside corner. So we'll see. But those Kyler Gordon has not practiced this week, so he could be out, and he's their primary number one defensive back. Josh Blackwell is the third string listed on Chicago's official depth chart. TJ Edwards, who did not play last week, has been limited with a hamstring injury. If he doesn't play again, that would be a considerable loss for their defense again. But we'll see. But that's kind of something to be determined. He didn't practice at all last week, and then for now he's getting limited practice. Another big loss and is Grady Jarrett. It's right up the middle, especially with the way the Lions' interior offensive line struggled last week. It could help them to not have that big body, not someone they have to move out of the way for opening up room for Dave Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. And the run game is going to be important this week. So that could benefit the Lions. We'll see. Grady Jarrett hasn't practiced yet this week. So that's this week's injury report. I'm Jason. Like and subscribe, and do this every week. We release on Thursday, usually around 6 o'clock. We try to get it out. So Have any suggestions? Please leave them in the comments. And go Lions.